The Red Bull Rant is a free-flowing podcast with three soccer-loving idiots who don't know when to shut their dumb potty mouths. So listener discretion, yeah, it's pretty much advised.
Welcome, my friends, to the Show Never Ends. This is the Red Bull Rant podcast. I'm your host, Jason Iapicco.
I'm Truman, and this is episode 468, No Chicago Hope, or the Deep Dish Dud, Chicago Dope. I'm sure I could think of more.
Yeah. So we had the perfect song to play for this episode, but
well, we did.
Technically twice. They've ruined it twice against Chicago. For us to use that song.
Yep. Because they don't know how to beat shitty teams.
It's fucking embarrassing!
Because right now, they are the shitty team.
Seriously.
It stinks. It stinks. It stinks.
New sound just, well, it's going to be now a permanent one, but I brought it in for this episode.
Buy my book. Buy my book.
5 points if you guys can figure out where that came from.
Cookie Puss, I will eat your soul. I know so many lines from that show. Tons.
The problem for me is I don't remember a lot from this show. Only because it's been a while. Only because it's been a while since I've seen it.
Oh,
right,
God.
Let's get into this one, though. Red Bulls went to Chicago. Lackluster 88 minutes. One decent moment. And came out with a 2-1 loss because a draw was too much to ask for. No voicemails. No, tweets. Do we have any tweets for this one?
Eddie was nice enough to tweet. I think the pain was too much to leave in a voicemail. I completely understand. No. He said, damn, I missed tickets to the Backyard Brawl to plan for this game and actually nearly went to this pathetic bullshit. Oh, God. I mean, you could have had a nice weekend in Chicago, so it wouldn't have been all terrible. Steven Santos, thank goodness I was at a concert in Brooklyn and not watching this crap on Saturday. No kidding. Lucky you. We just go low blow from Barlow. Poetic, really. And then at Mark DB said, this team sucks and ownership doesn't care. Well, I think he's half right. I think the problem is they kind of care because they sign a player or two, but not enough that when that player gets injured, they have anything else to replace him with. They could barely survive.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, even without Forsberg, we should have absolutely won this game.
Yes, especially with this second half kicked off. But that was it. That was the entire highlight.
Yep.
The first minute or so of the second half.
Yep. All right. Let's get into our thoughts, likes and dislikes. Jim, you go first. What did you dislike the most about this one?
Right. There's that. It's the most, right? I think it's the obvious is that you did it. You finally did it. You monsters did it. You let Tom Barlow score against you. Now, again, you or I probably could have put that ball away. Well, we probably wouldn't have gotten to run to that ball to actually score off the rebound. But if we were actually teleported to that exact spot in the field, we could have scored on that. I mean, just yuck. It's the thing that we all know is going to happen because every former Red Bull scores against this team. But that's the one you give up the first goal. That's who you have to go down 1-0 trail and fight to try to get back into the game. It's just sickening.
Of like shit.
What made it worse was that was his first goal all season.
Correct. Yes, it was. He had all of 0 goals all year.
He scored less with Chicago than he scored with us, and he still managed to score that one.
Yep.
I guess my dislike will be how they were able to score a second goal because we're supposed to be a good defensive team. And I know we were missing Nealis on the back line, but Reyes and LA should have been able to handle that.
And it was bad play. Bad play.
Yeah.
The defense was always a strength, but man, this year, more than the other years when we play mediocre, that defense is making a lot of mistakes back there. Thankfully, now usually most of the stakes only cost them 1 goal. This time it did cost them 2.
Yeah. I wonder how much of a problem these injuries / suspensions have been causing the back line. Because think about it. We've had probably, I think each of our center backs, right? Nealis, Reyes, and Elliott, all three served at least 1 red card suspension.
Yep.
Elliott gets called up for international duty, which, again, for an under 21, I'm not sure why the Red Bulls didn't pull the trigger on holding him back. And I know it's 10 years or whatever now at this point, but the organization held back Ryan Mara from an under 21 or under 23 appearance. Goalkeepers, let's get hurt and you let LA go when you had less than 10 games in your season and you kind of critically need to get points.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, at this point, they're not in a desperate situation, but they should feel like they're in a desperate situation because you play like this, even if you're in the playoffs, how can you expect anything for them to go even into a second round?
Yeah. So if the playoffs started today, this was posted Monday. This does not account for any games played today. So, by the way, we're recording a day early because we want to watch a team that actually wins games played on Thursday.
Yes.
If the playoffs started after Monday, the Red Bulls would host Orlando in the best of 3 and then have to face most likely Miami. Even if they get past Orlando, they're not getting past the second round.
No. God, no.
Now, if we make it, honestly, in that specific scenario, if we make it past Orlando and lose to Miami, then it's whatever because it's fucking Miami, right?
Yeah.
You kind of need to get lucky against Miami. The way we've been playing, I don't know what the fuck is going on. Like you said, defense used to be a hallmark of this team. Recently, it has not been. I think last year we gave up 1 goal a game. This year we're at 37 with 29 games played. So even if we pitch a shutout the rest of the year, we'll still give up more than a goal a game because we'll have 37 and 34.
Yeah. Well, when you're giving up 2 to Chicago, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And it's not like the rest of the schedule gets that much easier.
Right.
Granted, we get to play Atlanta twice, which Atlanta is middling right now. But then we have to play New York City FC, who's in the playoff race, a Columbus team at the end of the year where they're going to be racing for that number 1 spot after all their games in hand finally get played, and a Toronto team, which I think, is right now in the playoff race. That's not an easy end of season schedule.
Right. These are all teams motivated to win, motivated to get further into the playoff picture.
Oh, and actually, looking at the live standings right now, by the way, Orlando and us have flipped because Orlando's winning their game today. Right now, we would actually be the bottom seed in a best of 3 against them, which means we'd have to go to Orlando possibly twice.
Sweet.
You know how that worked out last year with Columbus?
Yeah, always good.
I'm sorry, Cincinnati. Yeah. Good times. Oh, look, Chicago's losing 1-0. Imagine that. Nashville. Nashville and Chicago are both below us, and Nashville, we've scored 45 goals all season. Nashville scored 29, and they are still managing to beat Chicago. All right, is there any positives to take from this game?
Star Wars Outlaws is a great game, by the way. So I played that immediately after this nonsense. So great game, super fun.
I can't wait for the new Zelda game to come out. Right now, the Switch is my console. So
yeah,
I want that Link's Awakening art style again.
Yeah, I mean, as these Red Bull games, go closer to like the 90th minute, my hand just gets closer and closer to the controller. It's really what happens at this point. These past few games, I'm like, how? Just give me the signal now, team. Just give me the signal so I can start playing earlier.
I'm pretty sure after the KC match, I said to my wife, because she was watching the game with me, like, okay, if I turn the Switch on, I feel like I need to beat something up.
Right, I have to thrash something properly.
Yeah. Are we just done with this game? Is it even worth talking about anymore?
Well, yeah, they were done with it, in the 47th minute, 48th minute. So, yeah, we're definitely done with it.
Okay. Prediction standings, no change because both of us stupidly thought they could at least draw the game.
Yeah.
So
mediocrely draw the game yet again, 1-1.
True. We said 1-1. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, and I remember exactly saying I wanted to predict a 2-2, but I could not trust the team to score 2 goals. And I was right about that part.
Yep. Sure was.
All right. Next up for the Red Bulls is a home match against Atlanta United. Like I said, the first of 2 matches they have to play against Atlanta. In the last 5 matches. That's great. Atlanta comes into this game with make sure that because they played today, so let me make sure. Yep, 8-13 record, 32 points, 11th in the East, and a -4 goal difference. At least they played today, and they have to play on Saturday. We did not play today, and we don't have to travel.
I heard this story before.
That should be an advantage, but we'll see.
Yeah, it should be a loss for the Red Bulls.
All right, so your prediction first, Truman. What do you think is going to happen on Saturday?
Is Emil Forsberg finally back on Saturday? I guess that's the big question, right? That's the big question we're asking. I have no idea. I don't check injury reports. But is he back in the lineup? If he is he starting? Probably not. Probably 25 minutes off the bench is my guess. Unless he just took an extra game off so he feel like he could start. That being said, Jay, like you said a couple weeks ago, you can't give this team enough credit until you see something first. So let's just keep going down that fucking rabbit hole with these 1-1 draws. I don't think they'll lose only because they don't usually lose to Atlanta. That's the only thing I have right. That's the only thing I can say about them is their record at Atlanta is fantastic. They're home. They're not Philly. I guess that's why they could actually scrounge a point out of this fucking game.
I don't remember off the top of my head.
It will not be
right,
good enough.
I feel like Atlanta, we've only lost 2 once, and it was in the playoffs.
Yep, there was that playoff loss.
I think that was the only loss we've had against them, if I remember correctly. So I'm not sure. I think that's right. I really don't know what to predict. Like, I want to say draw, but I can't even trust a draw at this point, I feel like. Not after what happened in Chicago.
Right.
Screw it. I'm going to follow it up. I'm going to say another 2-1 loss because I can't. It's sad that 2 weeks ago I said I can't trust this team to win, and now I'm saying I can't trust this team to even get a draw.
Yeah.
So they got to prove that they can at least get a point first before I can predict that again now at this point. So I'm saying 2-1 loss.
It's not out of the realm. It's really not.
No,
sadly.
It's not.
God.
All right. Let's talk about another team that's actually winning. Gotham FC. Won their last match 2-0 at Seattle Reign. That puts them on a 3-game win streak. Their next 2 matches. The next one's tomorrow, 7 p.m. where they will host Monterrey in the CONCACAF Women's Champions Cup. And then Sunday the 22nd, they will host Utah Royals FC at 1. Their record currently is 12-4-4, 40 points on the year, +9 goal difference. They are third in the NWSL, 8 points out of first place.
It's fucking mind blowing. The top of this league right now, like the top 4 teams, like what in the shit, man? They constantly win games and they cannot crack even the top 2.
So they at least they have 7 matches to make up 8 points, which is doable. Well, here's the thing. Orlando Pride, I just realized, do you want to take a guess at how many losses they have on the year?
Oh, I know how many. I'm looking at the standings right now.
Yeah, when you lose 0 games, it's hard to not be top of the league.
Yeah. That is really unbelievable.
All right. New York Red Bulls 2. Their page. Last minute thing. Lost against Chicago FC United 2-1 on 13th. Hey, maybe that's why we lost 2-1.
As I say, that sounds familiar.
Yep. Their next match is Sunday the 22nd, 5 p.m. Well, they will host EFC2. They have 3 matches left for the year, by the way. Standings, they are currently 12th in the Eastern Conference with a record of 8-5-12, a -9 goal difference, 33 points. I don't know how playoffs work, but I assume we're not making the playoffs.
Unlikely.
All right. With that, it is time for the F1 update.
What the fuck was he doing? Honestly. Is he a fucking prick or what?
You know, I could say that about Carlos Sainz this weekend, Jay.
Yeah.
I think those words are perfect for what happened this weekend. That was egregious.
And there's people online saying Sergio's fault for not backing off.
You're out of your fucking mind. Like that's completely insane. He did nothing wrong. I mean, Carlos Sainz fucking like pretty much drives into him. I don't even know how to explain that crash. I really don't. I mean, costing Checo possible second place, definitely a third place, and costing the Red Bull the lead in the constructors championship. That was
costing Ferrari points too, because he had a podium position at that moment, so they cost his own team points.
Yep. I mean, there's defending, but I mean that was beyond. I just can't believe. If you guys haven't seen the highlight, you got to go look up the highlight of that crash. It's just I don't know what he was thinking at all. Completely insane. That being said, fucking Red Bull Max again. What, qualifying sixth, finishing sixth? They have done nothing since the Austria incident. Let's just call it the way it is. And now they are, I believe, in Singapore this weekend. Again, not one of their favorite tracks, but they need to. This has to be a big weekend for them. Has to be, because McLaren doesn't show any signs of slowing down.
So Max is down to is that 79 point lead?
Yeah.
Which is insane when you think the fact that he has 7 wins, the Norris has 2, and that's his cushion is only that.
Yep. I mean, he couldn't, and he had a lead over Lando Norris until the last few laps of that race this past weekend.
So I mean, Lando Norris couldn't even hold on to that. Norris drove like a man possessed, though, honestly. I mean, he went from 15th to
unbelievable 4th place,
whatever it was. Yeah,
4th. And I mean, there's obviously a crash involved, right? So that
was a big,
6. So he could have been a little bit further down, but still.
Not the crash for Verstappen's probably 7th.
Yeah. So Red Bull really needs to. They're getting all these 1-1 draws is what's happening, right? They started out hot, and now it's just been mediocre or bad. And we're not even mad at Checo this weekend.
The F1 equivalent of a 1-1 draw.
Yep, it's somehow they have to figure out how to get their mojo back in this like final stretch of races.
They got this one, and then it's a break right before the U.S. Grand Prix.
Yep. Almost like it's like the next race would be on the 20th of October, so it's almost a month off.
All right. With that, it's time for the dumping ground.
I'm the trash man.
The only thing I could think of is just because it's positive, and I know it sucks because your team's not doing so great, but the Jets look like they have some sort of offense to win a game.
Yep. I mean, the Giants game was so bizarre. I don't even know how your kicker's out on the opening kickoff, and you had no one to replace him. When they knew going into the game that he was possibly hurt, but they're like, it's fine. We'll be fine.
Like they didn't even use the punter to try to fix. Like I didn't watch the game, so
they tried on the first extra point, and he shanked it so bad they gave up on that. So they had to keep going for 2. And in the offensive zone, like when they're on the other side of the field, they had to keep going for like 4th down plays.
Holy crap!
Yep. And then it was 4th and 3 in a tie game. And Daniel Jones threw a really nice pass to Malik Neighbors, and he dropped it on 4th down. And Washington got the ball, came right down the field, and kicked the field goal with no time left. So that's how that game ended.
And Washington didn't score a single touchdown in that game.
Nope. They scored 7 field goals.
Wow. That's impressive.
7 field goals. So, and I don't think they punted the entire game. And they had like 40-something minutes of possession. So it was sad.
If we weren't watching the Jets and the Ravens on 2 different screens, I probably would have knowing what I knew now, I would have put the Giants game on to watch that.
Oh, yeah. It was rough to watch. Defense just looks terrible. Again, Daniel Jones did not look bad. He was not the reason they lost that game. Bad defense, and you had no kicker. If they had a kicker, they might have won by like a point or 2. They definitely would have gone. They wouldn't have gone for it on 4th and 3. They would have kicked the field goal. I mean, it would have been a totally different game.
I mean, how many times they missed 2-point conversion?
Twice.
That's 2 points right there.
Yep. And they missed they went for the 1 extra point at the first touchdown. So there's 1. Right. Then they went for 2 points twice. That's 4 points. That's 5 points off the board.
Yeah. With the kicker, that game you win.
Yeah. With a kicker, if you're kind of playing even Steven, they have 21 points at that point, and they probably kick the field goal on 4th and 3, go up by 4, and then you don't know what happens after that. But still, they had a better chance where they wouldn't have just. Oh God, unreal. I do have a soccer thing to talk about.
Okay.
Something I don't think you've seen, but you're going to start Googling it so you can check it out. Dallas is getting a renovated stadium. So they just posted pictures online. I just saw like a little while ago. But they're going to renovate Toyota Stadium. They're actually giving it a form of a roof to protect from that sun, which is the smartest thing they could possibly do. The designs look like the stage is going away finally. That era needs to be done and dusted. Those stages were the dumbest thing ever, and they were pretty much on all those the Cruise stadiums, all those other stadiums. So those are going away. So that's nice. Are you Googling it right now?
Yeah, I'm on FC Dallas's website. I'm looking at their rendering.
Yeah, I like it. I mean, that team kind of deserve a better facility than what they have. Those fans don't deserve to be sitting in that blazing sun. So
well, isn't part of the problem that stadium is also used for like high school football, and it's also the site of like the U.S. Soccer Hall of Fame at the moment?
The Hall of Fame is there. That Hall of Fame is a permanent fixture. So, and if you look at the renderings, it's still going to be there. Like I don't think that's going to change. But if you provide a more world-class stadium with that better roof and more LED ribbons and video screens, I like the designs. It looks nice. And, a lot of those problems were that they would play these games where the sun was literally pelting one side of the field and no one would sit there. You would think the game was empty on the camera, but everyone was on the other side of the field. Like everyone could only be on one side of the field because of the sun. So that roof design looks great. I think everyone should definitely check it out. I think it'll be a better destination for people who want to go to a game and not die from heat exhaustion.
Okay, so let's see. This is the highlights according to them. Expanded seating capacity, the increased capacity by 175% overall. It's actually pretty impressive.
Yeah, well, hopefully the stupid ass stage will be gone. So there you go, right there.
I'm sorry, overall seating by 10%. The club capacity will be 175%. Iconic roof structure, which I guess based on what they're doing, it's iconic, but
yeah, it looks nice.
New scoreboards, video signage, and credited sound. Okay. Suite levels, whatever. Dedicated club entrances. I mean, it's the thing that should be happening now. So
yeah.
59% increase in concession point of sale. That's a very good idea if you're going to actually expect more people there.
Yep.
Improved accessibility. That's always a good thing. A 26% increase in restroom facilities. You know what? For a game, that's never a bad thing to have too many restrooms.
Nope.
This is something I didn't talk about, but when I went to Goodison Park, going into the bath, and Goodison's already a cramped stadium, so I kind of knew that going in, but going into that bathroom during halftime, that was fun trying to wade my way through the crowd to get to the trough, basically.
Oh, the trough. Trough.
Literally, that's what it was at Goodison.
The trough.
Yeah.
Yeah. Classic. That's like Old Shea Stadium style, the big old trough.
The one thing I wasn't expecting, and I probably should have, was the wall of smoke when I walked into that bathroom. But the brand new like Everton jacket that I bought on the trip, it had smoke smell until I got home. So like 5 minutes in that bathroom, it was just so freaking heavy that it just got into the jacket and I had trouble getting it out. It was it.
Is it? We're gonna put a little bit of England on your jacket there, bruv.
Yeah. Weird Everton experience was going to why am I blanking on the name of the Abbey in London? Westminster Abbey. And one of the workers outside see me wearing my Everton beanie because it was like probably like mid 30s outside, and he sees me wearing the hat. And he's like, "Oh man, I'm like," he was talking to me. He was like, "Glad to see me there." I pulled out my phone for something. Oh, he was asking what things. I pulled out my phone for something. I had Everton on the background. He's like, "Oh man," like he was so excited to just see Everton in London, and but it was so completely random. Like I would never expect a random person working at Westminster Abbey to be an Everton supporter. It's like, oh,
right. Here the two of us are.
Yeah. Last thing, sorry, for the stadium. The largest video board in an MLS specific, or an MLS in a soccer specific venue, which I am curious how. So they say it's going to be a 6,000 square foot video board. What I'm curious about is I'm pretty sure San Jose's video board on the one end covers the entire length of the goal line. So how the hell is that not 6,000 feet?
Maybe what they're going to do is for the Dallas games, they're going to helicopter / crane in the Dallas Cowboys scoreboard and just lower it down for the game, and they lift it up and they bring it back to their stadium for Cowboys games. Maybe that's the plan. Because that thing is a fucking huge.
Yeah.
See? I was thinking.
Trying to find out the size of this thing.
It can be a big fucking screen.
Look up scoreboard because there's no. Nope. Okay. Don't know. I was pretty sure that video scoreboard was like the width, like the length of the goal line, and it was double sided. So, but oh well.
Good for them. Good for them. Again, that's the way it should be.
Just Texas always has to everything be bigger, doesn't it?
Of course they do.
Anything else for dumping grounds?
I think that's all I got.
Okay. With that, it's our last segment of the show. Truman's terrible team of the week.
That's terrible.
All right. So speaking of the Cowboys, I was going to mention how they got absolutely trashed by the Saints because last week there wasn't any real beatdowns. But listen, Jay, a beatdown happened tonight. Tonight a beatdown happened at Yankee Stadium. I don't like giving credit to this team, but the Union beat NYCFC in their own building 5-1. And again, that was now is a playoff team, but was previously not a playoff team. Crushing you in your building. God only knows how that feels. Luckily, we didn't get beaten that badly. But I think as of now, Philly is now in a playoff spot because of that game.
Live standings puts them in ninth.
So there you go.
Which is technically that wild card playing game.
Yeah, still a spot. Technically a spot.
Yeah, we only lost 2-0.
Yeah, could have been way worse.
All right, is that it?
That is all.
Okay. Let's wrap this one up. You can visit us at patreon.com/Red Bull Rant. $1 a month gets you any exclusive content we decide to do. I want to thank our producers, Jeremiah Dempster, Steven Santos, Eddie Delecto, Christopher Edmeck. Thank you guys for supporting the show. Email us, redbullrant@gmail.com. If you want to call us, leave us a voicemail, 973-348-5329. Facebook.com/Red Bull Rant. On Twitter, at Red Bull Rant for the show, at Dr. Stooge, myself, at the Truman for Truman. Subscribe to our show via iTunes, YouTube Music, YouTube, SoundCloud, Spotify, pretty much anywhere you can find a podcast. Last words before we get out of here.
I mean, it can't get worse, right? It just can't get worse than this. They have hit the bottom of the barrel. We are hoping their captain is back, hoping that motivates that team. Because if it doesn't, we are fucked. So the only chance the Red Bulls have of doing anything in the playoffs starts this Saturday, going out there and just fucking win.
Yep. Please go out there and win because we do not want to see another.
God, no.
All right. So for Truman and myself, this has been episode 468 of the Red Bull Rant. Thank you guys for tuning in. And as always, go Red Bulls.
See you later.